What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Keith, one-time Thurman, Errol the Truth Spence. Get this. Errol Spence, according to Mike Coppinger, and Keith Thurman are finalizing a deal for PBC on pay-per-view fight. This is expected to take place in April, sources told ESPN. Spence holds 3 welterweight titles, but this matchup will take place at junior middleweight, sources said. The WBA president, Gilberto Mendoza, told ESPN that he granted Spence a special permit to fight outside the weight class without relinquishing his 147-pound title. He also holds the IBF and the WBC belts. Wow. Listen, let me counterpunch. I think this is an experimentational thing for Errol Spence. I think he wants to know what it's like to fight at 154. He wants to dab up there, and I think this is a safe way to go somewhere, regardless of what happens, and still come back to your belts. It's almost like Canelo, just minus a belt. Canelo went from 175 back to 168. He lost at 175, but he went back down to defend his belts. Errol Spence can do the same thing too. And as far as Keith Thurman goes, Keith Thurman started at 150 pounds, okay? So he was a lot bigger than welterweight. He just decided, as his career progressed, he decided to campaign at 147, okay? So he started at 154, so I think he should be more familiar with that particular fight. But this is strange, though, because of the weight class, but it is a nice loophole, so advantage Al Heyman for that. You know what I mean? Because he's like, I still want to see that welterweight fight. Maybe, maybe not. But it still holds the possibility open for a showdown with Terrence Crawford. But then again, here's the thing about Terrence. Terrence could go and say, you know what? I'm going to go to 154 as well. So it could always be that way. And Keith Thurman's a good fighter. I'm really hyped to see that fight. I like Keith Thurman. He's a self-promoting fighter. He just can't take body shots. And Errol Spence throws a lot of them. So we'll see what happens at 154. I will say this about Errol Spence. Errol Spence, again, he shouldn't have put his foot in his mouth, because you never know where you're going to be. You never know where you're going. You know where you're at, but you don't know where you're going. And he once upon a time said he'll never fight Keith Thurman because he chased Keith Thurman for a very long time and didn't get that fight. Right? Now, they're finalizing the deal. I think that's the best that Al Heyman can offer him right now at 154, because it's sure hell not going to be Jermell Charlo, right? You know what I mean? So I think that would be more ambitious for Errol Spence to do that with Jermell Charlo, being friends, whatever. They can make each other some money and fight each other. There's a lot of friends in boxing. Errol Spence was really good friends with Lamont Peterson when he beat the shit out of him, right? So, friends shouldn't matter in the sport of boxing, but they do have the same trainer. So you have to keep that in mind. But again, it just shows you don't put your foot in your mouth, because you never know where you're going. I said the same thing about Eddie Hearn as he said about soft touches with Anthony Joshua. So big news, people. You guys tell me what you think of Errol the Truth Spence and Keith Thurman finalizing a deal at 154. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.